Hi, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to our TalkBack. With great pride, Wisconsin Mujer, a multimedia social engagement company, brings you another exclusive curated event with sections for kids, adults, Spanish speakers, and cooking enthusiasts. In the diaspora of so many titles, there's one label that unites us, artist. Viva El Arte. Join us today as we explore and talk about art, culture, and connection today. This wonderful talkback is sponsored by American Family Insurance Institute for Corporate and Social Impact, UW Hospital and Unity Point Health Meriter, Dane Arts, and Madison Arts Commission. So welcome everyone. Hello and welcome. My name is Natalie Ergus. I am a local artist and art educator, and I'm so excited to get to speak with you all today. I would love to go around and just have you all introduce yourselves with your name, what city that you're based out of, and what medium you work in. Who wants to start?
I guess I can start. My name is Julieta Alvarez. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you start?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, so my name is Julieta Alvarez. I guess I'm all around artist, but photography is, I guess, my main focus. I'm now in Madison, Wisconsin, but also in Chicago, Illinois.
Great, thanks.
I can go next. I'm Jessica Pankratz. Hello, Natalie.
Hello.
And everyone. So I'm based in Madison, Wisconsin, and born in central Wisconsin up north. And my primary medium is black ink, like I draw with watercolor and sometimes oil pastels and then some random, colored pencil here and there. Is that it?
That's it.
All right.
You got it.
Great. I got it.
Hi, my name's Araceli. My pronouns are she, her, hers. My medium right now, I call myself, identify as like a multidisciplinary artist because I do a bunch of things, but I'm focusing on painting and sculpture right now, which is really fun. I usually use acrylic paint. That's usually what I do. And then with sculpture, it's just like anything and everything. And right now I am actually in Chicago, Illinois, studying at the Art Institute. But I'm still doing stuff in Madison and hopefully Milwaukee too. Those are the two places that I really found like communities in. So kind of all over the place.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing, everyone. Our first question to get our discussion going is sort of how did you fall in love with art and what's your relationship with art? So I'll start with Julieta. Maybe. We'll see. I think she might be frozen. I will go to Jessica.
Oh, okay. So I've thought about this quite a bit and I was like, wow, I've always loved art. And when I was a kid, I loved to color and I was always doodling on my notes in school. But I would say it took me until maybe 10 years ago before I really felt like I fell in love with it. And it was during a very challenging time in my life. Everything was falling apart in my life right around this like 2-month period, as some of these big profound things do, like when we have big awakenings. And I would say that like the program I worked for had lost funding, and my teenage son wanted to go live with his dad 2 hours away. And there were just a lot of things that happened. And I fell, that the biggest thing was I fell at a job and I got injured. So I could no longer process like emotion and like deal with like mental health in the same way, which was more physical. I needed to kind of slow down and really find another way to do that. And art was the route that I found. And really it happened. It was kind of born from a class that I was taking at the time. It was a spiritual intuitive class. And I discovered that I was really holding myself back by believing negative things that I had learned as a kid about what it meant to be an artist and who gets to be an artist. And I kind of just like discovered like, wow, I have all this art inside of me that wants to come out, and I have an option of what I want I can choose what I want to believe, really. And if I want to be an artist, I can. So after that, like the art never stopped. And I remember creating art every single day for 2 years, like the first 2 years. And I had my first art show like a year later. So I was self-taught. I didn't go to school. I've taken maybe 2 classes in my whole life. And so that's really the path for me. It was like a path of healing and awakening.
That's awesome. And I love everything you said. I think everyone's an artist and we all have to get over this imposter syndrome. And I've seen your work and it's rocking, my friend. So awesome. Keep it up. I'm going to go to you next, Araceli.
Yeah, same sort of thing. I started out as a kid, just like I love to draw and use art as a way to express myself. And then, you know, it started to become more serious after high school. And I find that visual art is, for me, like a language I can speak much more clearly and how I can communicate myself the best. Because growing up, I had a really hard time in school, even just like articulating myself with like language is difficult. So using like visual art images and like that's really how I could express myself fully. So yeah, that's why, I mean, I think that's how I fell in love with art. And for a while, my relationship with my practice it changes constantly, right? Like a couple years ago, mostly like the work that I did focused around my trauma and just trying to cope with it. And that was kind of what my focus was on for a while. And then when I moved back to Madison, I was very community driven, sort of advocating for underrepresented communities. And so it's constantly shifting. Right now, I mean, a lot of the things I do is for class, for like, you know, studios. But right now, my relationship with my practice has been reconnecting with like my childhood, the inner child in all of us, you know, that needs care and love and attention. So that's been my relationship currently with my practice. So.
Wow. Awesome answer. And I love your work as well, Araceli. I just adore both of your work. To follow up sort of on that question, what do you feel is your relationship with art in the Latinx culture? Sort of what does that look like to you? And I'll start with you, Jessica, if you'd be willing.
Oh, yes. You know, a lot of these questions challenged me and also in a good way, because it really got me thinking about you know, culture and art and identity. And the thing for me is that I grew up in a white community. There were very few people of color. I don't think I remember a single other Latino family. And so I had quite a lot of pain that occurred because of that, like many of us do as people of color, and just being different, you know, that sort of thing. So I would say that like it took me a long time to start healing the pain and trauma, like you were saying, Araceli, and really starting to be able to examine who am I and who is my family and who is my ancestry, you know, like my ancestors, and asking my mom harder questions because she wasn't really able to speak about it. So not wanting to push too hard, but I need to know who I am, right? And so I kind of felt isolated from the Latino community, the Latinx community. And I would say that, hi.
Hi. Welcome.
Hi. So I would say that being invited by Araceli to do this was just like so great, because it got me feeling more connected, and it had me thinking about, what do I really want to say through my art next? Now that I've been really doing all this examination, like what wants to be born, you know, what wants to come through that's a little more conscious, rather than the path I've taken before was more to be just like drawn to things on a more subconscious level. And now I'm like, what do I really want to say? So I've started exploring, like expressing, like for instance, I created a portrait of my mother recently. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, there's like some glare, you know, so that sort of thing. And I also made this. It's the national bird and flowers of Nicaragua, and that's the country my family is from. So just things like that are starting to come out of me, and I'm wanting to be more connected to the Latinx community.
Thank you for sharing. And just to recap, because we had Shadayra join us, we are talking about the relationship of art in the Latinx culture and sort of on a personal level to you. So I will pass it next to you, Araceli.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know. So like in Madison, I focus a lot on Latinx communities and specifically the Mexican communities. And I know for a fact that I've been influenced by like my upbringing, just like going to Mexico, being with my family over there, just seeing culture and the sort of the art there that's there too. It's very colorful and bright and expressive and like just a lot, right? It's like it's just so boom, like this is like just it's so colorful and bright and I love it. And I know that's definitely affected my style because I love using these sort of saturated bright colors and this sort of like floral elements too. And yeah, I right now I haven't been as, I'll be honest, as connected with like in my practice with my Mexican culture, right? That doesn't mean it's not there, you know? But when I was in Madison, I did workshops and made some zines, just like advocating for the communities there, the Mexican communities there, and just like raising awareness on things and like local businesses, Mexican businesses you can support. And it felt really good. There's a connection that you get right away when you focus with like when you put attention on your culture and like connect with it. So I do miss that. Being in school has been a little hard to like do things that I really want to do, but yeah, no, I've definitely been influenced, and it's a huge part of my life more than anything. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I will go to you next, Shadayra, and please correct me if I'm not saying your name right.
Shadayra.
Shadayra. Okay, thank you so much, Shadayra.
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about how we feel Latinx culture connects to art.
Well, yeah, I would say for me it's well, so I have a long history of art. My mother's an artist, and I grew up helping my mother paint murals. So there's kind of a legacy of murals in our family now. My daughter's become a muralist as well. So we have 3 generations of muralists in our family. And that has a lot to do with, you know, Mexican culture and, you know, Mexican influence. I consider myself to be a indigenous Chicana, and then my daughter's a Black Chicana. And so we tend to use art in different movements. And so more in terms of decolonization and using it for resistance. So for more than just beautification, but actually sending messages of progress and equality, racial justice tend to be a lot of the focuses of some of the art that we've done. And in terms of, you know, Chicano culture, I would say that you know, it's more than just, I'm so glad that Araceli has decided to include poetry and include cooking, because I also make and sell tamales. I make and sell fire cider. I make my own just all kinds of Mexican influenced crafts. So I'm really looking forward to sharing some of the stuff that we do, but a lot of it has to do, with calaveras and bright colors and flowers and some of those really traditional things. And so it's my Chicana culture really influences my artwork very heavily. So
Thank you for sharing, everyone. I love to hear everyone's personal take on all of these topics. I would love to get into some sharing. So if you all could you share with us what you are working on currently? That would be awesome. And I will go to Jessica.
Oh, I wasn't prepared. No, I'm just kidding.
That's okay.
I actually, I have, this is interesting. I used to create one at a time, and now I have I think I have 20 pieces that are just, I drew and I'm gonna paint soon. I think it just kind of is like when it feels right? So, and jaguars and flowers in the background, and elephants. I have this affinity with elephants, and I've created maybe 30 to 40 elephants. But the stuff I was referring to before, I just really want to see, kind of sit with a little, meditate a little more on what wants to come through next, even more than the things I'm working on. So it's a lot of things I feel like are cocooning. So that's where I'm at.
Awesome. So I'm going to break our order because I would love to hear from Julieta. If Julieta would like to share with us, we're talking about what we are working on currently.
What we're current. Okay, I can't see the camera and I keep getting technical difficulties, so I'm just going to talk if you guys can hear me. I am currently working on a few things. There's a collage that I'm working on. There's a couple of photo series that I just keep working on because so much
cut out a little bit there.
Maybe I'll come. Yeah.
Technology sometimes, I'm telling you.
That's a bummer. Yeah.
It is a super bummer. Okay, we'll go back to Julieta if she comes on. I will go to you, Araceli.
Yeah, I've been working on, so I have a lot of sort of prompts and assignments that I've been doing. But I still incorporate my style and what I love to do and talk about. But I've been working on a lot of sculptural pieces actually. I did this one that is two friends holding hands, and it's supposed to be about childhood friendships and the sort of ease and just softness to that. And they're made out of puff balls, these little pom-pom balls. So they look awesome. I wish I could show them to you right now. But so I did that, and I'm working on a cabinet of curiosities right now as well for my sculpture class. So yeah, and then paintings. I mean, I'm doing so many things. I'm working on I have these paintings I'm going to make that are actually about my dreams and relating them to the real world. And I think that's most of what I have on deck. A lot of stuff.
Thank you for sharing. I love to hear about everyone's process. I will come back to you, Julieta. I would love for you to have a chance to finish up telling us about your artwork if technology is cooperating.
I know, right?
Oh, it happens.
My Wi-Fi is working right now because I think mine gets pretty bad.
I know. Same here. It's it's bound to be one of us, and I hate that that's a thing, but it is a thing that we are dealing with. Let me see here. So we talked a little bit about what you are working on now. I would like to talk about what do you think the theme of the Wisconsin landscape is with your mother country, and how do the seasons change the art that you make?
Would you like me to start?
Sure, yeah.
We've lost a couple people.
I know.
Oh, bummer. I wish they could call in even.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I haven't been to Nicaragua, so a lot of what I understand about the country comes from my own research and just looking at documentaries and pictures and reading, and it's very different, right? There's like volcanoes. There are no volcanoes in Wisconsin, right? And it's like tropical, and there's oceans on each side, and just ethnically and racially very different. A lot of people are mestizo, and there's an African, Black community. There's white community, indigenous. So it's just a little bit different in that way as well, obviously, because here it's way more white dominant. And so I was just thinking about like all of the landscape of those two places quite literally and how different that is. And I think, a friend of mine was like, even though you've never been there, right? Like it comes through you, and it comes through in the way you dress, and it comes through you in the colors you use and what you're drawn to, the jewelry I like, all of these things. So it's like, oh yeah, I was born through my mother regardless, right? And she has been in my life, and my grandmother. So yeah, so I would say that's just like what it brought up for me. And then with the seasons, I often take my own photos. So I use them as reference, and I spend a lot of time in nature. So the flowers that are blooming will show up in my art around that time typically. Or in winter, when things are dark and dreary, I'm going back to those photos from when things were much more alive.
Yes, I agree with that. Thank you. What about you, Araceli?
Yes, I guess I don't know if I interpreted the question right, but I thought it was an interesting one because I was born in Wisconsin, and I identify as Mexican American because I'm American, like I know that, and I'm here most of my life. But yeah, I think the art community, like when I thought of like the landscape, I thought of like, okay, the art communities that I know of in Wisconsin, they're really tight knit and very, very connected with each other. Like all these little communities in Wisconsin, art communities, and I'm thinking like Madison, Milwaukee specifically. Like I feel like we all just kind of know each other, or we're just one person away from knowing each other because the community is so strong. So yeah, that's how I kind of interpreted that. And in terms of like seasons, I took it in a literal sense too. So like winter, summer, spring. So my mental well-being is very it can be dependent on like what the weather is outside. So in the winter, I think I'm a little more gloomy, but like my art's really emotionally driven, so that affects what I make. So yeah, it's the seasons have a huge effect on like what I present, and which I think is great though. I mean, that's kind of what art can do for one. So
yeah, great. Thanks for sharing. So Shadayra, I don't think you had a chance to share your artwork. So if you would like to, please show us if you have your art around you, or share with us what you're working on. Oh no, I think you might be muted, which I'm not sure I know how to do. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm another one of those people. Can you hear me? Okay. So I'm another one of those people who usually work on about 20 different projects at once. So part of, since COVID started, I actually am a pretty versed seamstress. And so I decided to put that to use. So I've been making masks, face masks with filters inside of them. So they're eco-friendly. So they are 100% cotton. So that's one of the projects I've been doing. Also, I make, my son has been helping me make different crafts. Like these are, let's see if I can get it really close.
Wow.
They're like
Cool.
so they're refrigerator magnets made from
Oh my God, yes.
Pop Top.
Oh, I love it.
So we turn garbage into art. And let's see. I'm not currently scheduled to work on I'm in negotiations with a mural for the Boys and Girls Club in Sun Prairie. And the last mural that I was part of was the Madison sister city with Tepatitlan, Mexico. There we a number of artists from Madison. We went down and painted with a bunch of high schoolers, and that was really wonderful. So I will have my a link to be able to view some of that stuff, and I'll make sure for people. I've had some issues with having like my Facebook public lately. I've been being trolled by white supremacists. So I would love to leave my Facebook open for everyone to see some of the things I've been working on. Because a lot of it is on location. So it's, photographs that I would want to share with people. Also, I'll be starting my huge annual tamale sale. I do not use yeah, tamales. Sorry. I only use vegetables. I only use vegetable shortening, so they're semi-traditional. And I tend to make dessert tamales and vegan and vegetarian tamales. So they're somewhat traditional, but a little bit different take. So those are some of the things I'm currently working on. Also, next conversation, I'll go and get something and bring it closer to be able to show you guys. So
Yes.
That's awesome. Yes, thank you so much. I love sort of this idea about, again, art being multidisciplinary, not just being, painting or drawing, but cooking, maybe some more folk art, stuff like that. So that leads me to my next question, which is, in general, what do you think the connections between art and culture are, and why is that important? I will go to you, Jessica. You're my first up.
This is an interesting question. They're all interesting, Yeah, just art. It's a hard one because I was thinking about what's the difference between this question and the one about the values. So I don't know. Also, I'll just say kind of some of the thoughts that came up. So I was kind of thinking about how culture and art and identity are all connected, and it's hard to really separate. So it's like this triangle, right? They're like, or whatever shape or mixture you want to say. Maybe only in the past few years have I really started to ask myself about like culture. So it feels like a kind of fumbly topic for me. But what I've been thinking about is that it's so important for us to represent our culture through our art, and representation matters so much. Like being able to see ourselves in the world and like see our culture in the world and see our like just so many like symbols of like who we are, right? And so I wouldn't say that my art is really completely showing that yet, but that's what I want to do, because I think about being a kid and not having other people like me around and feeling like I didn't know who I was, and I didn't even know I didn't know who I was until I was much older. I just knew that there was this difference. So I think being able to see yourself in media and see yourself in movies and see yourself in art, or see your family or see like traditions just sort of like all around the world is really important for all of us, especially children. And so those are some of the things that I was thinking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I resonate with that, Jessica, because I am multiracial. My dad is Latino and my mom's white. And so I just feel this constant, like, I'm pulled in two directions. I don't speak Spanish super well yet. My grandma's the only remaining person in our family who speaks fluently. But yeah, I hear what you're saying, Jessica. Thank you for sharing that. It's okay to be fumbly. We're all good.
Right. And I am biracial, multiracial too. So
yeah,
I don't know if I mentioned that. You know that. We've talked about this, but
yes,
yeah,
we have.
I resonate.
Okay, Araceli, you're up next.
Yeah. So a few things that, again, with like I kind of combine the cultural values and then, you know, art and culture. I combine those two questions as well. But I also agree with like representation of one's culture and just how different that can look for everybody. Because I feel like sometimes we can tend to be like boxed in, like, oh, this is what, for me, like, this is what Mexican art should look like. When it's like, no, it can look like anything, right? Because I'm a Mexican American woman. Like, it can be anything, and that's Mexican art, you know?
Yes.
Hello, clap, yeah.
Because I, for a long time, and I'll admit I still have this sort of guilt of like, am I putting enough Mexican elements? Am I paying attention to that enough? And, you know, I don't want to feel that because I know who I am. I know my culture. I love my culture. And again, this sort of that Mexican art can be, or, you know, any culture can be, that art can be anything. And like allowing for a more expansive portrayal of, like, again, for example, like Mexican artists. Because I mean, if I were like 5-year-old me seeing 22-year-old me right now, I'd just be like, what? Like, this is, you know, because it's the representation. And also I think with art and culture, art can be like, it's extremely powerful because it's just, I mean, there's many reasons for it, but it's important, I think, to use our practice to sort of shift and change the narrative that society puts on us as Latinx artists, and kind of taking that narrative back, being like, this is what we are, you know? So yeah, that's what I have.
I love it. We're all like getting on our little soapboxes, like, this is us and this is, you know, this is the way it is. I love it. Okay, Shadayra, we would love to see more of your artwork. We're talking also in general about why art is important in terms of like a cultural lens. So yeah.
Absolutely. I think art gives us such a sense of sometimes self, you know, and can give us a lot of purpose, I feel. And so part of what, you know, for me being multimedia, but also just very multifaceted, some of what I've been working on has been working with young people. And so I'm going to share a project that we started for East High School here. So
I love that.
So the East High School students, yeah, we made calaveras last year for the Latino Art Fair. And so these will be for a fundraiser, where it's kind of a blank canvas where you can make your own faces. So I'm going to have a link to the Chicano Institute. Sylvia Gomez at East High School is the founder. And it was just absolutely amazing last year, spending the summer with them and getting to know them. So these are all for sale. This has been one of our, all different colors. But so anyways, some of the other stuff that we've made, my son has helped me make, have been keychains, earrings. These are my masks.
I need it all.
and then the hand beaded earrings, those all come from from the state of Nayarit. They're the Huicho or the Cora they're called, the Cora or Huichol people, who are they travel between the mountain and the mountains and the ocean, and they're known for their phenomenal beading. They make some other just unbelievable work. So I've been making these little miniature shrines. This I need to reglue. But this had been an earring, and so I turned the earring just into a little recuerdo. And so I can go again, magnet for the refrigerator. This is called fire cider. And what it is it's a home remedy. It's pretty intense. It's made with apple cider vinegar, chiles, habanero chiles, serrano chiles, horseradish, ginger, ajo, garlic, cebolla, onion. Horseradish, I have no idea what that's called in Spanish. Turmeric root. So it's an anti-inflammatory. It's really good for your stomach, for your throat, and I've been making it annually every fall for friends and family. So I think that's, that for me is a huge part of art, is healing and wellness. And I feel like art really helps for my life anyways, for me to feel, more whole. And so I feel like it really contributes to just my sanity. That's why I say I'm working on a lot of things. We recently lost a very close family friend, and so I started making memory votives for her, and then also and say my house is a wreck, guys, because I have this memorial celebration, but then also the candles, the virgin candles. So I design. Oops, it's not in the camera there. I've been making those as well.
Oh, I love that.
You do everything.
Just that kind of. Just a little bit of everything, and my kids, they have, my kids, they just have so much fun helping me, and so for us, it's like a healing thing, but it's also a way to give back to our community. For me, it's working with youth, and I think I feel that there's something really empowering about creating things, about creation, especially with your hands, your hands, your feet, whatever, but just making something, I think is been something that throughout the ages, since the beginning of humanity, it's a way for us to get in touch, I feel like, with ourselves, and but also really, really culturally. So all the things you were saying about how it makes you feel more connected to to your ancestors, to your roots. I feel that a lot in my own life. So
yeah,
but I did want to I collect. When I travel, I collect art, so I wanted to share just a couple things here. The Huichol art is
oh my god,
it's pretty phenomenal.
Is that
This is a jaguar,
right?
What is that? Wow,
it's a jaguar.
Very cool.
Wow, I love
Very
that.
cool. So yeah, so I tend to also buy, when I travel, I try to buy as much work from the indigenous people where I'm traveling. So we went to Chiapas a few years ago. And
Love it.
yeah, so this was from the Zapatistas. But so it gives, I feel like it gives me so much power in so many ways, and as a way to give back, as a way to heal, as a way to connect. Just art is everything for our family.
yes, it really is.
I absolutely love that. Okay, for probably our last question, I'm looking at the clock-ish. I'm going a little off script, but it should be an easy one. What is inspiring you all? I'm just genuinely curious at the current moment, whether it's related to art or not at all. Like, what's inspiring you in the current moment? And any takers?
Okay. So quickly, one thing. Cumbia. I've been listening to a lot of cumbia. Just to like, I mean, I miss my family so much. Like I'm not even that far, but I feel like I'm so far from them. So like listening to cumbia has been really inspiring me. Yeah, and just a feel good time with cumbia.
I need to add in my own perspective here because dance, I love to dance. That is the one
I've been
thing
dancing a lot.
outside of, like just creating. Dance, I think, connects me to my Latina culture because my grandma, she will be 93 in November and she still dances all of the traditional dances, Mexican hat dance, cumbia, all of those dances. So it's kind of just something that's in my blood that's creative. But yeah, like when people are like, oh, what kind of artist are you? I don't say I'm a dancer, but I do think that, yeah, like that's part of my, my artistic side. So thank you for sharing that. I love that. Anyone else in terms of like what's inspiring you in the moment? Jessica, what about you?
I'm like, what is inspiring me? I think I'm always inspired by music. So it's always a part of my process. I've been seeking out a lot of new music kind of on the regular, but actually interestingly, now that I think about it, I am going back to when so you said, Araceli, you're 22, I'm 41. So I'm going back to actually when I was in my early 20s with music. And I've been just like reconnecting. You're talking about inner child work. I'm doing a lot of younger self work, like not the little one, but the like one who is in her, 18 to 22 and like through music. And so there's something about that, like retrieval work, like almost like, hey, there you are. And what did you like? And kind of like reintegrating parts of self together again. So there's like, that's going on. And then I'm also just like, I think like all of us just trying to cope with everything. Like, I mean, it's like nonstop stress, and we haven't really, it's like, we're talking about all this stuff and it seems like we're in a beautiful little bubble, but it's been like, which is great because I forgot, for like 40 minutes, I have forgotten. But when I really think about the past 6, 7, 8 months, it's been just trying to like make the best of everything and not drown in all the stress and like do soul work and do this, like, which is art, and art is soul work, like that sort of thing. That's really been where it's at.
Jessica, you are also a phenomenal dancer. I am friends with you on Facebook, and I see you break it down on the daily. Yes.
I forgot that I was posting all these videos. I was trying to entertain people.
Keep it up. You were.
That's amazing.
I loved it.
But I miss dancing, and I was so glad you said that. I was just like, oh, that was like the way I let off steam every week. And I haven't, not connecting with people and going to dance. I miss that.
Yeah.
I hear you. Shadayra, what about you? What's inspiring you in the current moment?
Young people, the youth are really, really inspiring me. So my daughter, when she put out a call for friends to come and help her paint on State Street. So I was asked to help recruit Black youth to paint on State Street. And so when my daughter put a call out to her friends, we thought we were getting just one of the boards. And we ended up being given an entire business. So 4 boards, 2 on State Street, 2 across from the Overture Center. And so when she put out a call to her friends, there were, I want to say, over the like week and a half that we were painting, the 10 days, I would say close to over 24 friends, probably closer to even 36, reached out to come and paint. Yeah, these kids just want space and brushes, really, and they were doing so much phenomenal, like just beautiful designs and their messages, the messaging that's coming from the youth. It's so inspirational to me. It's so motivating to me. And the way in which the young people are finding themselves and fighting for social justice. I think it's really, really beautiful the way that two Black and brown kids coming together. I worked on this one piece, and it ended up being three Chicanos, one Guatemalan, one youth from Guatemala, and they collectively decided that what they wanted to give the board they had started on. So a lot of these kids who showed up decided to claim their own space because they saw that the white kids were claiming space, and they said, we're going to claim space too. And then the Latino students, something happened with them where they felt like, we want to help our Black friends take up space. And it was so beautiful watching the support and the love between these young people. So a 12-year-old ended up young Black girl came and finished that piece, and then a young man from East High School, biracial guy, he came and did like spray painting on it. So in the end, it ended up being a collaboration between like 7 young people who had never met before.
Wow.
And so they ended up deciding on saying the chant from Assata Shakur. So when I shared Assata Shakur's story, they were all really, most of them had never heard of her. And so when I asked them to Google her and then tell me what they learned about her, an American refugee who's been living, political refugee living in asylum, they were pretty floored to find out that Cuba's been protecting her all this time. And so it was just a real learning lesson about Black and brown unity. So the kids, it's been amazing. I love hanging out with the young people.
Oh, I love it, Shadayra. I'm a public school art educator, so I just love what you are doing. That's incredibly important work and very inspiring. I do want to make sure that I address Julieta. She was commenting in the chats. We lost her due to some tech difficulties, which stinks, but she says, number one, are there any artists out there with clean spaces? Because we were talking about, or Shadayra, you were showing us your house, and you had mentioned there's stuff everywhere, and I completely agree. No, there is really not an artist with a totally clean space. And then Julieta also says that what is inspiring her right now is trying to bring beauty to a world that seems to be falling apart. Oh my gosh, the poetry right now that
makes me want to cry. I have tears.
I know. I know. Art is so powerful. And as sort of our last, rounding out question or call to action here, I would love to shine a spotlight. Where can people who are watching find your artwork? Where can they connect with you? So I will go to Jessica.
Okay. I am primarily on Instagram and Facebook, so I don't have a store set up. Most of my art is original art. I do have like cards with like mini prints. They're just blank cards that I have, things like this. So I have just a small amount of those available, and I have like mini print framed prints of some of my work.
Love that.
I'll show you a couple more before.
Show and tell, absolutely.
Wait,
I love it.
This goes that way and this goes this way. So I have little things like this, but most of my work is original art. So I am on Instagram as In Spirit Artist, and then on Facebook as my name, Jessica M. Pankratz. I have a Facebook artist page, and I have my personal page as well. And people, feel free anywhere, direct message me, no biggie. And I do commission as well.
Oh, that's great. I love to hear this because now I'm thinking of gifts, and now I just have 3 more amazing artist friends that I've been meaning to buy from. So thank you for sharing. You next, Araceli.
Yeah, I'm mostly on Instagram. That's kind of where I do like live updates and stuff on just what I'm working on. It's a long name. It's Sleepless Transgressor. So I don't know. I don't know if can I type in the chat? Is that
Yeah. Well, actually, I say that like yes, do it, and I don't actually know.
But I think I see that they're like updates with our socials and everything. So it could be on there. And yeah, I also have a website too, sleeplesstransgressor.com. And was there another question? What was it? It was
just like, where can we find your art? Where can we connect with you about your art?
Okay, so Instagram too. Like if you want to get in touch with me, DM me for sure. So
awesome. I love it. Okay, what about you, Shadayra?
Well, I'm generationally challenged. I'm a little older than I look. So I was told by my adolescent daughter a few years ago that generationally is not for you, Mom, Instagram, except for
oh my God.
I'm realizing that it is for me. So I'm in the process now.
Yes.
Get on there.
Of getting on Instagram. So you know, Araceli Esparza was so helpful in helping me, you know, move a bunch of files around so that now I can do that, access that stuff. And then Facebook is a good place to get a hold of me. And yeah, I'm pretty accessible. People just get a hold of Shady. So family and friends, that's what they call me. It's a little easier to remember. But right now I'm working on a website, Shadayra Kilfoy. So that, and it looks like that's available on IG too, so as well. So it will be Shadayra Kilfoy.
And you'll have all your art and everything you're doing on there?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's like my least favorite part of like, you know, like having to sell your, you know, promote your and market. So I'm getting there. I'm getting that part together because it had been more of a hobby thing for quite a while. And now it's really become much more of a full-time profession. So
exciting.
Yay. That's for everyone. That's amazing to hear that. I love that. Yeah, so to round us out here, I just want to thank you all for joining this session and just talking openly. It was really comfortable and easy to talk with you 3 and Julieta too. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to our sponsors, American Family Impact for Social and Corporate Good, Meritor Unity Point UW Health, Summit Credit Union, and Dane Arts. So big thank you, and I wish you all the best. I'm looking forward to keeping in touch with you on social media. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, you did such a great job. Thank you, Natalie.
First time moderating. So you did okay. Thank you.
You did great.
It was great. It was so great to connect with all of you.
Absolutely.
Beautiful conversation.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
So do we just disappear? Like, what happens?
I don't